Night shift workers know their buildings better than anyone. Every sound, every door, every corner. You learn it all because you are alone in it every night. These 3 workers thought they knew exactly what was in their building. A data center technician found notes behind a battery rack documenting the exact 4-minute windows when his building could not see movement. A museum guard found 9 weeks of her own security rounds documented inside a locked piece of furniture she walked past every shift. And a hotel night manager found his home address written under his photograph in a notebook behind a wine rack.
Let's
check the spaces in your building you have never looked behind.
This vintage is perfect.
The ones that have never given you a reason to look. Story 1. The notes documented every 4-minute window across 8 weeks. 8 weeks of knowing exactly when our monitoring system could not see movement. Someone behind our battery racks had been living in our data center and had spent 8 weeks documenting the precise moments our building went blind. I found them during a monthly battery check. My name is Ben. I am 37 and I have worked as a night shift infrastructure technician at a Tier 3 data center for 4 years. A Tier 3 data center is a specific category of facility: redundant power, redundant cooling, biometric entry, continuous remote monitoring. The building is designed to be secure. The building is designed so that what is inside it cannot be accessed without authorization, and what happens inside it cannot be undetected. I do the monthly UPS battery check on the first Monday of every month.
Connection looks stable here.
UPS stands for uninterruptible power supply. The battery systems that keep the servers running if the main power fails. The battery racks are large metal units standing against the wall of the UPS room. I check the charge levels, the temperature readings, and the physical condition of each unit. Routine. I have done it every first Monday for 4 years. The UPS room is accessed through a keypad lock door. The code is changed quarterly. On the night of the discovery, it was the first Monday of the month, and I was doing the monthly check. I was working along the battery racks from left to right. At the 4th rack from the right, I noticed something. A cable, running from behind the rack toward the wall. A cable that should not have been there. The racks are self-contained units. Nothing should be running from behind them to the wall. I moved the rack. It is on wheels, heavy but movable. I pulled it forward approximately 40 centimeters. Behind the rack, against the wall, a sleeping arrangement. A sleeping bag rolled tight. A backpack. 3 weeks of food packaging. A portable power bank connected to a charging cable that ran to a data center power outlet behind the rack. And a notebook. I picked up the notebook. The first page contained a list of dates going back 8 weeks. Beside each date, the time. 2:15 a.m. Every entry. 2:15 a.m. I knew immediately what 2:15 a.m. meant. Our monitoring system runs an automated diagnostic cycle every night at 2:15 a.m. The cycle takes 4 minutes. During those 4 minutes, certain motion detection alerts are temporarily suppressed while the system runs its self-check. It is a known operational feature, known to the technical team, not publicly documented. The notebook contained 8 weeks of confirmed 2:15 a.m. entries. Someone had been living behind our battery racks and had documented every 4-minute suppression window across 8 weeks. 8 weeks of knowing exactly when our monitoring system could not see them move through the building. Below the date entries, handwritten notes about the building systems. Server load patterns during specific hours. Cooling cycle timings. Network traffic volumes at different points in the night. The notes were technical and accurate. Whoever wrote them understood data center infrastructure. I called the operations manager immediately. I did not touch anything else in the space. I stood in the UPS room and waited. The police arrived within 20 minutes. They processed the space. The backpack contained personal items, clothing, toiletries, a portable hard drive. The portable hard drive was seized for forensic analysis. The biometric entry logs for the building showed only authorized entries during the 8-week period. Every entry logged was a legitimate staff member. The investigation found that the person had entered the building during a legitimate staff entry, tailgating through the biometric door behind an authorized person on a date 8 weeks before the discovery. They had remained inside the building continuously for 8 weeks using the 4-minute suppression windows to move when the monitoring system could not see them. 8 weeks inside a biometrically secured data center. The 4-minute window. 2:15 a.m. Every night. 8 weeks. I arrive early now before my shift officially starts. I walk the UPS room before I do anything else. I pull each rack forward slightly and look behind it. Every month. Before the battery check. Before anything. The 4-minute window was closed immediately after the discovery. The diagnostic cycle was restructured so no alerts are suppressed during its operation. But I still pull the racks forward. Every month. I look behind them. Every month. Ben found 8 weeks of documented monitoring gaps behind a battery rack in a biometrically secured building. If that story got under your skin, drop a comment before story 2 starts. And if you are not subscribed yet, new horror stories every week, turn on notifications now. The next story is not about a data center. It is about a museum. And something found inside a locked piece of furniture that a security guard walked past twice every shift for 9 weeks. 9 weeks of entries. Every time I entered the conservation laboratory. Every time I left. The duration of each visit. The time between visits. Someone had been sleeping in the top drawer of a plan chest I walked past twice every shift for 9 weeks. Documenting me. While I walked past them. My name is Diane. I am 44 and I have worked as a night shift security guard at a natural history museum for 7 years. I know this museum the way I know my own home. Every room, every corridor, every door. I have walked the same rounds for 7 years. The paper conservation laboratory is on the 2nd floor of the East Wing. It is a humidity-controlled room. The specific environment required to preserve paper-based archival materials. I check it twice per shift. Once at the start of my rounds and once toward the end. The check takes approximately 3 minutes each time. I open the door, I confirm the room is clear, I check the humidity reading on the wall panel, I leave. The plan chest is a large flat drawer unit used by the conservation team for storing oversized archival documents. It stands against the wall to the right of the door. It is approximately 1 meter high, 1.5 meters wide, and half a meter deep. It has 6 drawers. It is locked. The key is held by the conservation team and is not on my key ring. On the night of the discovery, I entered the conservation laboratory for my first check at 11:43 p.m. I confirmed the room was clear. I checked the humidity reading. I was about to leave when I noticed the plan chest. The top drawer was not fully closed. A gap of approximately 2 centimeters at the right-hand side. I had never seen the plan chest open before. The conservation team are meticulous about locking it. I looked at the gap. I looked at it for a moment. Then I went to the plan chest and I tried the top drawer. It opened. The drawer was not locked. The lock mechanism had been modified. From the inside, I learned later. The drawer could be opened and closed from within and appeared locked from the outside. Inside the top drawer, a sleeping arrangement compressed into the drawer space. A thin sleeping mat folded to fit the drawer dimensions. A small pillow. A water bottle. 3 compact food bars. A pen torch. And a notebook. I did not touch anything inside the drawer. I stepped back from the plan chest. I called the museum's emergency security line. While I waited, I looked at the notebook from where I was standing. The cover was visible. On the cover, in neat handwriting, a date. 8 weeks before tonight. The start date of the documentation. The police processed the space. They confirmed the drawer had been occupied regularly over an extended period, forensic evidence consistent with 9 weeks of regular use. The notebook contained detailed entries for every night across 9 weeks. Each entry recorded the time I entered the conservation laboratory, the duration of my visit, the time I left, and the interval before my next visit. 9 weeks of my security rounds documented from inside a drawer I had walked past twice every shift. The drawer space was large enough for a person of small to medium build to lie inside with the drawer closed. The planned chest stood against the wall. From inside the closed drawer, with the drawer slightly ajar, the room was partially visible. The occupant could see me check the humidity panel. They could see me confirm the room was clear. They could see me leave. Twice every shift. 9 weeks. They watched me confirm the room was clear while they were in the room. I changed 2 things after the discovery. I now carry a torch during my rounds and shine it into every piece of large furniture in every room I check. Every cupboard. Every storage unit. Every drawer unit large enough to contain a person. Every room. Every check. And I no longer confirm a room is clear until I have checked every space in it. Every space. Every check. Every room. Boys. Diane walked past a planned chest twice every shift for 9 weeks. Someone inside it was documenting her rounds the entire time. Story 3 is the one that stayed with me longest. Because it is not about what was happening inside the building. It is about what was being documented outside it. Subscribe before story 3 starts so you never miss one like this. My name was on the second page. My arrival time. My departure time. The coffee shop I stop at on the way in. The car park I use. The time I usually leave for home. Someone in our wine cellar had been documenting my life outside the hotel. I found it at 2:17 a.m. My name is Tom. I am 52 and I have been the night manager at a 5-star hotel for 8 years. I know this hotel completely, every floor, every service corridor, every back-of-house area. Night managers know buildings the way daytime staff never do. The building at 3 a.m. is a different building from the building at 3 p.m. I know both versions. The wine cellar is beneath the restaurant. Access is through the kitchen, down a flight of stairs, through a coded door. The code is changed monthly. The cellar is temperature controlled, 14 degrees, specific humidity. I check it twice per week as part of my back-of-house inspection routine. On the night of the discovery, I entered the wine cellar at 2:12 a.m. for my regular check. The cellar is a long rectangular room with wine racks running along both walls and a central aisle. I walk the central aisle, I confirm the temperature and humidity readings on the wall panel at the far end, I walk back. 3 minutes. Routine. I was walking the central aisle toward the far end when I noticed the wine racks on the right-hand side. The bottles in a specific section, approximately 2 meters from the far end of the cellar, were not right. I know these racks. I have checked this cellar twice a week for 8 years. The specific section of rack had bottles that were not positioned the way they are always positioned. Not dramatically different. Slightly different. The specific difference that 8 years of checking the same rack produces the ability to notice. I stopped. I looked at the section more carefully. The rack was not flush against the wall. A gap of approximately 15 centimeters between the rack and the wall. A gap that should not be there. The racks are fixed to the wall brackets. The rack had been detached from its wall brackets and repositioned to create a space behind it. I did not move the rack. I stood in the cellar aisle and I called our head of security on my radio. While I waited, I noted everything I could see without touching anything. The rack repositioned. The gap behind it. The specific section, approximately 2 meters from the far end, right-hand side. Security arrived within 4 minutes. We moved the rack together. Behind the rack, a sleeping arrangement. A sleeping bag, a backpack, food packaging, a portable light, The space behind the rack was approximately 60 centimeters deep, 1.5 meters wide, and the full height of the cellar, comfortable for a person to inhabit. And on the floor of the space, a notebook and 3 printed pages. The head of security photographed everything before we touched it. He handed me the printed pages. The first page was a staff rota. Our staff rota, for the past 6 weeks, with handwritten annotations besides specific names. The second page, my name at the top. Below it, my arrival time at the hotel. 6:45 p.m. Correct. My departure time. 3:15 a.m. approximately. Correct. The name of the coffee shop I stop at before my shift. Correct. The specific car park 2 streets from the hotel that I use because it is cheaper than the hotel's own car park. Correct. The approximate time I leave the car park after my shift. Correct. Below my schedule, 2 other names. 2 other members of my night shift team. Their outside work schedules documented in the same detail. Someone had been living in our wine cellar and had been spending their time outside the cellar documenting the outside work lives of 3 specific members of my night shift team, using the coded cellar as their base, leaving the cellar during the hotel's quiet hours to observe us outside. The police were called. The investigation found that the person had accessed the cellar by obtaining the monthly code. The investigation determined the code had been obtained through a social engineering approach targeting a kitchen staff member who had legitimate access. The occupant had been using the cellar for approximately 6 weeks. They were not identified. The investigation remains open. I changed 3 things after the discovery. I vary my route to the hotel now. Different roads. Different timings. I use different car parks on different nights. I changed the wine cellar code change frequency from monthly to weekly. And I walk the full perimeter of every room I check now. Not just the central aisle. The full perimeter. Every wall. Every gap between fixed furniture and the wall. Every room. The full perimeter. Every check. Boys. 3 night shift workers. 3 high security buildings. 3 spaces that should have been impossible to occupy undetected. Ben found 8 weeks of documented monitoring gaps behind a battery rack in a biometrically secured data center. The 4-minute window. 2:15 a.m. Every night. Diane walked past a planned chest twice every shift for 9 weeks. Someone inside it documented her rounds the entire time. And Tom found his outside work schedule, his coffee shop, his car park, his leaving time, documented in a notebook behind a wine rack in a temperature-controlled cellar. 3 things if you work a night shift. 1. Check the spaces in your building you have never looked behind. The fixed furniture. The large storage units. The areas that have never given you a reason to look. Look anyway. 2. Vary your routine where you can. Your arrival time. Your route. Your regular stops. A predictable routine outside work is as much a vulnerability as a predictable routine inside it. 3. If something looks slightly different from how it always looks, a rack not flush, a drawer not fully closed, a cable that should not be there, do not assume it is nothing. 8 years of checking the same rack gave Tom the ability to notice 15 centimeters. Trust what you know about your building. Which story disturbed you most? The data center, the museum, or the hotel? Drop it in the comments below. Subscribe to Midnight Scary Stories. New horror stories every week. Turn on notifications so you never miss one. And the next time you walk into your building at the start of your shift, before you do anything else, look behind the things you have never looked behind. Just look.